Today we are going to be looking at the Beretta Model 92 pistol for review purposes. We were able to get our hands on two examples. We have a about 1 year old 92FS, and this is a much older 92S. A little bit of quick history on the Model 92. Model 92 was first introduced in 1975. It was originally adopted by the Italian and Brazilian militaries. In 1977 it became the 92S, which is when they added the decocker safety. It was issued to SEAL Team 6 in 1979, where they bought some. They weren't really issued, they became available. In 1980 it became the 92SB with the auto pin blocking safety, and was adopted at that time by the Connecticut State Police. In 1985 it was adopted as the standard sidearm for the United States military, and it's been used by at least 25 states in the United States of America as a standard police sidearm, and countless militaries throughout the world. Our military uses it, or the United States military uses it, in the M9 configuration, which is very, very similar to this 92FS. The only difference between my 92FS and the military M9 is the dots on the sights are very slightly different, and the military also has an M9A1 configuration, which has a rail along the front that's commercially available as a 92A1. The military designates it M9A1. The current production of the Model 92 is the Model 92FS, which is what we have here. They make it in what they call a inox or a stainless. There's a 92A1, which has the accessory rail, and then they also sell it in the what they call commercial M9 and commercial M9A1 configurations, which are pretty much identical to this except for sight dots and some other very, very small feature type items. The Model 92 is mechanically identical to the Model 96. The Model 96 is 40 Smith & Wesson. The Model 92 is 9mm Parabellum. Standard Model 92FS comes with two magazines, a 15-round capacity. This being the modern 92FS, we have a magazine release right next to the trigger guard. Magazines have a nice finish to them. This is a much tougher than traditional bluing finish. The big features on this particular weapon are a decocker safety that is also a pin block safety. As you can see, the firing pin is not exposed when the safety is on. When the safety is off, the firing pin is exposed. The firing pin rolls out of position when the safety is turned on. This is a single-double model, which means that the first trigger pull when the safety is turned off will back the hammer out and fire the weapon, and then it will be in a single action mode after that. The 92FS has got a open top, or Model 92 in general has an open top slide, which makes for very few jams, reliability. This is one of the easiest guns to take apart. There's a button on this side, lever on this side. Most guns you have to push out the slide release arm. This weapon you push in the button from the back, which brings out this knob, allowing you to turn that, and then obviously the slide falls right off the front. Slide internally is a guide rod and a spring, and the barrel assembly, which has a sort of wedge in it. A little more moving parts than, say, some of the other traditional weapons, such as a Model 1911, but very reliable design, heavily tested, used for a long time by a lot of militaries. Very easy weapon to work with, very reliable. And that's pretty much it for taking it apart and putting it back together. The older Model 92s, this is a Model 92S in original packaging. We were lent this by a very nice gentleman. The older Model 92s, this Model 92S has the magazine release at the bottom. You can see the difference in finish between the newer style magazines and the older style magazines. Despite the change in position of magazine release, the magazines themselves are interchangeable. And just to prove that, this is the original magazine from the 92S, and it fits right into the model 92FS. Magazines are available aftermarket. Most of them are traditionally blued, much shinier than these, and not as rust resistant as the newer style. The older style, you can also see a few more differences. Ergonomically, they've made a few changes, such as the safety lever. As you can see, the grips have changed ever so slightly, and this offhand side or lefty safety on the newer model. Finish on the weapon has changed just a little bit. I'm not sure how well it shows in the video, but this is closer to what I would call Parkerized, and this is actually blued. The weapon was originally sold with 2 magazines and a set of cleaning brushes, obviously instructions. The newer ones obviously come with a nice plastic box. This did come with cleaning brushes. They're not currently in the box. Dimensionally speaking, I have relatively large hands. To give you an idea of how this might fit into a person's hand, that's an idea of how big and how wide my hand is typically, and for those of you who are metric, just so you can get a general idea. This weapon is a wide weapon, 1.5 inches. Nice wide grips. You can see I can get a good full two-handed grip on this. Also, at this point, it's worth pointing out a change in feature. This was a United States military requirement for adoption of the M9. This is a combat-style trigger guard. Some of the modern versions are sold with the older rounded trigger guard that you can see on the 92S, but this is common on all 92FSs that are regular standard 92FSs. But you can see I can get a good solid two-handed combat grip. They point very well, they're balanced very well. The weapon itself is a little bit heavy. It is 33.3 ounces in weight, empty, which makes it a little heavier than your Glocks, a little heavier than a lot of your other choices, and a little bit wider, so it is a little bit more difficult to conceal. But it is a good, accurate weapon, and I've been very happy with the 92s I've owned over the years. And even these older examples that I see come into my shop every now and then for cleanings or appraisals, they're still a very good, solid weapon, and I would happily trust myself to any of them. The only disadvantages, if I were going to pick disadvantages on the Model 92s, they are a little bit on the mechanically complicated side. Not from a general user cleaning standpoint. From a general user cleaning standpoint, if you disassemble the weapon just for a field strip, and this is as far as I would expect an average owner to go at home, that's not too bad for cleaning. In fact, it's one of the easiest to clean from that standpoint. Where the mechanical complication comes in is inside the weapon itself. You can see that there's several parts in addition to what you'd normally find on the inside of a gun. It's a little bit complicated from that standpoint. And the safety system itself, being a pin rolling out of position safety, has a few more parts to it than a typical firearm. So from a gunsmith standpoint, a full teardown and cleaning on something like a Beretta 92 is a little more complicated than, say, your traditional 1911s or your standard Glock handguns. But for the private individual owner, it's a nice, easy weapon to work with, easy weapon to disassemble, clean, and reassemble. good, strong action, reliable weapon. That's pretty much the gist of it. A couple of frequently asked questions that are worth touching on. Both of these versions were made in Italy. If you go to your local gun store and you walk up to the counter, a lot of times you will see two versions of the modern 92FS sitting on the shelf, available for purchase. One will say made in the USA and the other one will say made in Italy. Personal experience, I have been through both weapons and I cannot find any mechanical difference between the units made in the United States and the units made in Italy. I have not seen a significant quality difference between either the American made or the Italian made, and the suggested retail price on them are equally the same. Just depends on, you know, whether you want to buy an American made or an Italian made weapon. I get a lot of people locally who purchase the Italian made weapon because a lot of the local gun stores actually charge about 5% more for the American made than the Italian made weapon. Either one, they're an excellent weapon. From what I understand, 100% of the M9s are made in the States. A lot of the foreign military versions are in fact made in Italy. We should go outside and shoot this and show you how it works. Alright, hang on. Okay, we're outside to show you the M9, how it fires. I want to do a quick safety reminder. Always have your safety glasses, hearing protection, and make sure that you are shooting into an appropriate backstop. We have a nice big hill out here that we're shooting into. Camera's on a stand, so I'm not going to tilt it to show you. I put 5 rounds in the magazine so you can see how it functions. Magazine in the bottom. Slide release of the weapon. Again, for safety, never point at anything you don't intend to shoot. I know we know that, but I think it bears repeating. Again, the safety is a decocker safety. If I pull the trigger with the safety on, there's nothing that's going to happen. I've got a good backstop so I can show that. Turn the safety off, it's now a double action, or I can cock it and make it a single action. After I pull the trigger the first time, it will be a single action. That was double action. Now it shoots single action. And it has a hold open when it's done.